Good evening, this is Kuro. Got a tier 7 game in my Flint, knocking off a snowflake here, and got a game I figured I'd share with you guys, going over the matchmaking. Pretty favorable matchmaking. The only ships that I'm worried about really is the Sinop, and to a lesser extent the Gneisenau and New Mexico. New York's kind of got some wonky dispersion, so um, feeling pretty good about this matchmaking. I spawn in the center of the map, and I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to push down here to C-cap, and the idea basically being trying to turn the southern flank and just be able to push my way basically across the map. If you'll notice, this build I'm not using AFT, and I'm doing that because I sort of like playing with IFHE and Demolition Expert. Ever since they changed the gun bloom mechanics, where you have your max range being basically your furthest detection, I've really started dabbling with some of these ships that have, you know, really long flight times. Just playing with a shorter gun range and ducking in and out of range for what can actually shoot at me. Here, get lucky with a spot on the Gepard. Gonna just hold my fire. Want to be able to push up in here to this island undetected. And just being patient. I mean, 11 kilometers still covers quite a bit on this map. Now what I'm really looking at here is this Sinop. He's pushing up, and I'm hoping that I can get into a position where we can work on this guy, because as soon as that Sinop's off the board, that's really going to open up this map to me. So I'm going to creep up here and lay this smoke screen. Now I get detected slightly before when I really want to, but nobody's really looking at me. I am going to shift target to this Trento. Just trying to pull this smoke screen a little bit longer, and unfortunately my Kirov is just killing himself, but it happens. So here I've got some really wonky dispersion. I want to kind of look at this a little closer because okay, I think he turned out there, that's why those shots missed, but I'm not sure why that shot went over. That one's on point. Okay. Just a little frustrated with those couple shots there. What I'm trying to do, I'm trying to hit multiple points on his ship, and you can just, what I don't want to do is have, you know, 2 or 3 volleys in the air all aimed at, you know, the same point on a superstructure, because if one starts a fire, you know, I'm just not gonna get any additional fires. So, you know, try to hit one on the superstructure, one on the stern, one on the bow. The Dan A pops up. Just gonna shift my focus over there, try to keep him off my destroyer buddy. Looks like that Synop's gonna take some torpedoes. There he goes. And just gonna get in a kiting position here. I know this New York's gonna push, so just got my set of torpedoes out. Now this is a change that I do wish they'd give the Atlanta, is these torps here on Flint. I don't see any reason why Atlanta shouldn't have these torps, but pay to win. HE, always nice on these low tier Royal Navy cruisers. Citadel damage for days. I'm just gonna smoke up here. I just don't want this this New York to farm me. My team's kind of in an awkward position. We're down 2 ships, down a cap, so I want to preserve my HP. I'm having the feeling I'm going to need it later on in the game. And at this point, I'm pretty sure this New York's dead. I just don't want to let this guy shoot at me one more time. So once he's down, just going to pop hydro, get torpedo safe, and just start pushing. There's nothing on this flank anymore that can really resist my push. So just going to push up here and finish trying to secure the south. Get lucky, get the Dan Ape spotted, and I mean this is just brutal. Should probably be aiming a little lower. Still might even be able to citadel it from this angle with the way the HE mechanics work. Yeah, you gotta get hit lower down on the water line. But at this point, we've just got the enemy Gepard. Just gonna push right across. Now, I kind of have some alarm bells in my head here. The enemy team is pretty well grouped up here in the north outside of this Gepard. And my team is really kind of scattered around in the middle of the map. What I'm afraid of is the enemy is able to concentrate their focus here on B-Cap. And I'm worried that we're going to lose ships here over B-Cap because they just have so much a much larger firepower advantage. So I am going to post in chat, you know, trying to get these guys to pull back and wait till we can all push up as one. That's really the way that you want to handle this sort of situation. And I gotta hand it to the team. They followed through. That's what they did. They agreed it was a good play, and they didn't feed their ships into a meat grinder one at a time. At this point, it's looking like the enemy team is, I mean, they're consolidating on B-Cap. They're down ships, down a cap, but it's not the end of the world. They can easily come back from this. That's a low HP Arizona. We've got a failed division, Ubari. I mean, yeah, torpedo here, one place, well-aimed AP volley, and you know, that's that. So telling this Ubari to pull back. And I'm just gonna push up here as quick as I can. My Arizona goes down. My Yubari starts pulling out. And this timing's going to work out just about perfect. I've almost got Hydro available, so I'm going to be able to push into B-cap with Hydro. I do get spotted here. That's telling me that enemy DD is probably somewhere here. Now, if you watch, I get undetected. That's telling me that most likely this DD is behind this island because I should be spotted anywhere else. So I'm going to keep pushing up here. We get a good spot on the Minakaze, or Kamikaze. And that's gonna give me an opportunity to do what these Atlanta type ships like to do. And that's just massacre destroyers close range. I'm gonna slow up here and try to use this island while I engage this New Orleans. Last thing I want is to kind of be in an AP crossfire, so I am gonna smoke up here and just make sure I'm extra safe if this, you know, Mahan or New Mexico comes around the corner. My butt's covered. There's Confederate. I'm going to switch briefly to get a shot in on this Mahan. I think that's not enough lead though. New Orleans takes a big hit, so I want to make sure this guy gets finished off so I'm outside it, so I'm able to basically get out of any sort of crossfire. Able to pick up the kill there. And at this point, I'm getting my butt in gear. I figure there's torps on the way from the Mahan. I don't have Hydro, and I want to use this ledge here against the enemy New Mexico as long as possible. This kind of gets screwed up because the Synop is pushing in here, and I'm slowing up right now to try to let him by, but he's just taking forever, and I end up just running into him. Got that demo expert along with the IFHE really showing off right there, the close range firepower. And I mean, beached Mahan, under 8 kilometers, really gonna just start pouring these shots in here real quick on this guy. This could be ugly here, but I'm able to pick up the kill, planned. And yeah, that's the game here. This is just a solid game, just trying to use your DPM, just, you know, focusing low health targets, and just working your way right through through the map. I mean, that's what cruisers are supposed to do. Our lovely client here. Really wish they'd fix this. It's so boring. Speaking of which, this fancy camo available for tokens gives you a nice XP reward if you do have the ship. You can buy it for, I think they've got them for ranked or for ranked and clan battles camos. They've got different options in the arsenal, and gives you a nice, I believe it's 100% XP reward for, you know, not only your XP but free XP and commander XP as well. Should be able to see it here on the bonuses. So definitely a nice camo if you can get around to affording it. Had some extra credit flags on there, so as with all my premium ships, I try to include the credit and XP tab so you kind of see what the earning potential is for the ship. Um, but again, um, this is just it's a fun ship for me to play. Just again, dragging the ship out mainly to knock a snowflake off it. Um, but I always enjoy the Atlantas. They're just fun ships to play. So anyway, figured I'd share this game with you. 7 kill game is always gonna be amusing, um, especially with a ship that in this configuration most people really seem like they like AFT on these types of ships, and I really like to try to get in close and deal some damage with these ships, and then just duck outside of max gun range to disengage when I need to, and make some really interesting ambushes and stuff like that with these ships. And I mean, as you can see with IFHE and Demolition Expert, you can really stack up some damage quickly with these types of ships, especially if you're top tier. So anyway, if you guys have any questions or comments, leave them below. Hope you're having a good night, and I will talk to you later.